Oil prices decline as a highly contested presidential election continues to be too close to call. And global stocks eyed an all-time peak while the dollar and U.S. bond yields remain sluggish. Good afternoon and welcome to Economy News. Oil prices dropped as a highly contested presidential election continued to be too close to call. Although Democratic candidate Joe Biden was within 6 electoral votes to win, WTI crude was down 1.53% at $38.47, and Brent crude was trading down 1.5% at $40.74, as Biden was in the lead in electoral votes over President Donald Trump. A Trump win would be more bullish for oil because of the president's continued pro-oil policies. Biden, on the other hand, has said he would seek a path of diplomacy towards Iran, which could potentially bring Iranian barrels back to the oil market at some point next year under a Biden administration. U.S. stock futures fell early today as Wall Street eyed its best week since April, even as the results of the presidential election remained unclear. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 137 points, while those for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 were both also in negative territory. The three indexes recorded their fourth straight positive session on Thursday and were on track for their best week since April 9th. The S&P 500 and the Dow both up 7% so far this week. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite led the way with a nearly 9% gain. Shares in Asia Pacific have climbed to their highest point in nearly 3 years as Joe Biden edged closer to becoming the next president of the United States. More in the following report with Sheikh Al-Anizi.
Global stock observe an all-time peak while the dollar and the U.S. bond output stayed lazy today on hope that a divided U.S. legislature would prevent large government borrowing, which could pave the way for even more central bank stimulus. Investors expect Democrat Joe Biden to beat President Donald Trump and the Republicans to return control of the Senate. MSCI's all-country index of the world's 49 markets inched up 0.5%, bringing its record peak hit in September within sight. Japan Nikkei average rose 0.9% to a 29-year high, while MSCI Produce of Asian Pacific share outside Japan rose 0.3 near 3-year high. European stocks are seen giving up some of their big gains this week, with Euro Stoxx 50 futures down 0.8% and FTSE future falling 0.5%.
And finally, U.S. employers likely hired the fewest workers in 5 months in October, in what would be the clearest indication yet that the end of the fiscal stimulus and exploding new COVID-19 infections were undermining momentum from the economic recovery. The Labor Department's closely monitored employment report on Friday will underscore the challenges the next president, whether incumbent Republican Donald Trump or Democrat Joe Biden, confronts to keep the economy growing as it heals from the deepest recession since the Great Depression. Non-farm payrolls likely increased by 600,000 jobs in October after rising 661,000 in September. That would be the smallest gain since the jobs recovery started in May and leave employment 10.1 million jobs below its February peak. And that's all with Economy News. Now we move to the sports news with Sundus Al Faraj.